Hello, this is David from DN Cognitive Counseling. Tonight I want to talk to you about a matter that has been coming up more and more that I've been seeing with clients, with family members, with friends, with everybody basically around me. And that's the ability to agree to disagree. We're living in a day and age where everybody seems to denote that if somebody has a differing point of view, somehow now you're not just disagreeing with me, you're evil. You're something that needs to be eradicated. You're somebody I can't deal with. I have to get rid of you out of my life, and you are a pariah. And this is a very damaging thing. I want to take something that's very controversial, and let's take a look at it, and let's see if we could talk about it and understand how people can see things in differing points of view. Abortion is a very hot topic. People have very strong feelings about it. I have clients with very differing points of view on this. Now, I don't share with them mine because my opinions are totally irrelevant when it comes to their lives. But what I do is if you're pro-abortion, I will present what sometimes the anti-abortion arguments are. And if they're anti-abortion, I'll present to them what the pro-abortion arguments are, just so they understand that everybody around them is not evil. So if somebody comes in and says, I think abortion is evil because you're killing a child and you are committing murder, I'd say, okay, so from your point of view, that's the case. But the way that somebody who's pro-abortion would state the argument is state that it's a woman's right to choose, it's her body, and despite the fact that it's a potential for life, they don't see it as being alive yet because it's not viable on its own. Now, you could disagree with that, but that doesn't make them evil. It means that you have a disagreement about the definition. And if somebody is anti-abortion, they are saying that this is a life, it's living, so you can't do that. And again, and that was the pro-abortion argument. The anti is that it's a life, and you are killing and committing murder. And therefore, then that would be morally wrong. And you could understand why somebody would have that point of view. That does not make either side evil. The person that is pro-life, or pro-abortion, or pro-choice, they both have their points of view based upon the definitions that they believe are correct. You could disagree with them, you could think they're wrong, but not evil. Too many times today, people have this idea that when you're disagreeing with me, they cannot tolerate it. I recently had somebody who came to me and was talking to me about what's going on at the border and how upset they were. Now, somebody suffering from anxiety and pain, when they're focused on things that have nothing to do with their individual life they have no control over, that's problematic. Because I said you can focus in on many horrors in the world today. There's horrors going on all over the place. Murder, rapes, slavery is still around in many countries. And yet, we tend to focus on what the media points out to us as the new narrative, the new story. And we get very focused on what those narratives are. We're very much led by the nose by what the media tells us. Now, what's interesting is, and I didn't know this, the person says, well, I work for the media. And he says, well, that's not what the media does. It presents a story. And I said to him, well, I had two other clients who worked for the media, and they were telling me, and I was presenting this to him as something that was told to me, that when a African-American police officer shoots a white person, that their story is not picked up. But if a white officer shoots an African-American, that it very much gets picked up. Now, the truth of the matter is we don't want the police shooting any innocent individual. Be they white, be they black, it doesn't make a difference. And if there is a systematic aspect of racism, you would need to take a look at it. But the way you do that is through statistics, by looking at the actual numbers and facts. But that's not how the news media works. They sensationalize individualized stories, and then they draw conclusions based upon those stories, which of course is not a healthy way of approaching facts. So when you take a look at the situations, when you take a look at facts, the news media today is taking a very strong point of view. And this is the reason why if you watch CNN, MSNBC, or Fox, you're going to see very different narratives on stories and the way the facts are presented, which then creates very difficult times for us and our families. It's very difficult to go to a family function and a family event when you feel like you're going to war, when you feel like you're going to be attacked or you have to attack somebody else. You see, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our aunts and uncles could all have differing points of view. And if we don't learn how to allow to agree to disagree, we are going to cause problems and aspects in our families, and that's exactly what's going on. I have many clients who talk to me about the fact that they can't go to certain events or certain people. I will share this in my own family. I have obviously family members who I very much disagree with. They think I'm wrong about the issue. I think they're wrong about specific issues, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't love them. And don't think for a moment that they're evil. They could be wrong. And even though those wrong decisions or wrong thought processes have dire consequences, it doesn't make them evil. And we have to understand that we have to be able to agree to disagree with people and still be able to love them. And that's the reason why I enjoy so much watching the Dave Rubin Show. On his show, he has people he very much disagrees with. And he's respectful, he asks questions, and he listens to what their points of view are. He doesn't come out with a judgment. He's just there to listen and to understand. It is imperative that we as a nation start to embrace that kind of mindset. Otherwise, it becomes psychologically very destructive. We're always going to find a reason why somebody will make us that angry, and we will feel we have the right to stand up for ourselves. And that leads to an aspect of violence. I know I've criticized Daniel Mackler a number of times on my site about his videos, and I was going to do another one, but I was so upset by it that I didn't think I could do it objectively. But there was one point he made about a high school teacher that was making fun of a student. And the student was being made fun of verbally by this high school teacher. I think it was called him a nickname or something. And the student didn't appreciate it. And the student hit the teacher in the nose. And Daniel's response was, "Good for him. Good. You finally stood up for yourself." That's not healthy. And that's not good. The reality is we have to learn to stand up with our words when words are against us. It's different when somebody tries to physically attack us. But when somebody's utilizing words, we have to understand that we need to utilize words to stand up for ourselves. I do not appreciate that. Maybe I need to escalate this. But the idea of stating that somebody uses words and violence is an acceptable response, that's not good or healthy. And it doesn't lead to a good or healthy society. We have to be able to allow ourselves to agree to disagree. We have to be respectful of the other side and understand their point of view even when we don't agree with it. Understand that all sides have a point of view. Darrell Davis was an African-American man who decided to attend Klan meetings. And he ended up, I think, turning 20 or 25 Klan members to leave the Klan. He didn't do that by berating, becoming violent, screaming at them. He did that by having open conversation and dialogue. And that's how you get to the truth of something. And when you do, and you have that type of relationship, you're able to build bridges and be able to actually make change. But when you demonize and put other people down and argue with them, or you say, "I can't even tolerate the idea that you may have a different point of view," or even that a different point of view exists, all we're doing is hurting ourselves, our families, and our lives. I hope that you found this interesting. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. I hope you'll like this video. And if you didn't like this video and you disagree with me, I hope you'll comment why. I'd love to hear your point of view and about why you may think differently. And again, if you'd like to become a patron to this endeavor, please hit the Subcribe-star link and hit subscribe and to donate to this cause. I thank you very much, and I hope that you found this interesting. Have a good night.